In Ireland, an unknown male slashed several kids and a teacher outside of school, sending several of them to a hospital. But the media and law enforcement's hesitancy to release the man's Algerian immigration status has Irish citizens concerned about the skyrocketing numbers of refugees in the country, and now thousands have taken to Ireland's streets to protest. Chanting "Irish Lives Matter," where they eventually clash with Ireland's police, or as they're called there, the Gardaí, or guards.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Yeah!
Eventually, fires break out at facilities that are allegedly housing migrants, and later police cars and other government vehicles were set ablaze. And when the fire department attempted to enter the scene, they too were repelled. So most of the streets were left to burn. As a record amount of Gardaí riot police were deployed into Dublin, but still could not gain control of the streets. And unfortunately, some began to take advantage of the havoc and began looting the local stores. Which ironically goes into the protest's original concerns, as many of the looters don't appear to be a part of the original protest, and many of the Irish notice this.
3 Irish kids stabbed today and you're in robbing the place. What, are you all doctors and engineers? There you are, folks. Look who's robbing the clothes. Don't get in my face, I'll crack your jaw wide open.
So after a long night of destruction, the politicians, media, and police wasted no time in condemning the Irish,
who took to the streets of Dublin last night. Let me say one thing. Ask your sisters, ask your friends, ask everyone you know what they fear most on our streets. They're afraid of you, afraid of your anger and your rage, afraid of your violence, your hate, and how you blame others for your problems.
Basically ignoring the issues that caused the riot, with the police commissioner blaming the far right.
Driven by far right ideology and also with a disruptive tendency there.
So professional fighter Conor McGregor, who is likely the most famous Irish person currently, took to Twitter to call out the commissioner, shaming the Gardaí for not protecting the kids from a non-national, where he also tweeted to 17 million people that Ireland is now at war. Now others are stating that McGregor should lead marches into the streets, to which McGregor immediately condemned the riots, attacks on first responders, and the looting, accurately explaining that that did nothing to fix Ireland's issues. But he is working on the change that needs to occur, saying that he will be more tactical, and cites the recent school stabbing, decapitations, and Aisling Murphy, who was murdered in Ireland, with the media seemingly suppressing the information on who actually did it, as apparently he was able to reside in Ireland for 10 years, all while unemployed, but still receiving welfare the entire time, which Conor McGregor also recently pointed out how dismissive their Minister of Foreign Affairs is about the entire situation. And how crazy is it that you have all these politicians in power that are literally paid to serve the citizens, and when innocent Irish are becoming impacted by those politicians' poor policies, they don't step back to try to figure out how to make changes to better protect the people that literally pay their salaries. No, they immediately blame everybody angry at them and call them far-right lunatics. And the main, if not only person speaking out on the citizens' behalf is a heel fighter turned whiskey merchant. And when he actually stands up for his people, he'll get labeled xenophobic and racist. But it's just interesting how the man that stopped the original school stabber was also a migrant.
Yeah, I stop my bike straight away. I go to him, I take off my helmet to protect myself and use it as a weapon, and I hit him in the head. You just act by instinct, you know. I think I have kids myself, I have 2 kids. And I think all the parents, I think they should do, they would do the same.
To which McGregor hailed as a hero and offered him free food forever at his pub, the Black Forge Inn. So it's almost like Conor McGregor and the majority of these protesters are not far-right activists, they're just people that want a safer city for their women and children. So when we have an Algerian slashing his way through a school and a Brazilian working as a Deliveroo driver, they're both migrants and we're judging them by the content of their character. But for some reason, the media has to put them all under the same umbrella, so when McGregor calls out an Algerian, the establishment can't help but think he's also calling out the Brazilian. So in their attempts to paint McGregor as a bigot, they're actually just outing themselves more than anything. I'm sorry, you're not standing up for migrants by ignoring their criminals. You're just actually projecting your own bigotry as you actually don't think they're capable of living in a civilized society. But McGregor continued to post on X.com regarding Ireland's official response to the stabbings, to which many people online started to call for McGregor to actually run for president of Ireland, as he's the only one calling out the Irish establishment and the media, as we just witnessed Irish news sources immediately going into spin mode, calling it a dark day in Dublin, dubbing it Dublin's Day of Shame, where the headlines are hate on the streets, dismissing that a 5-year-old girl is in critical condition, putting the word barbaric in bold, and way down in the corner it's because kids were attacked, but also dismissing it as a lunatic far-right attack. What absolutely insane reporting is the Irish Daily Star doing right now? Burning a car is barbaric, looting a shop is the lunatic far-right, but in the most plain text possible, little girl fights for life. The media is literally the enemy of the people, as Sky News parrots the whole lunatic far-right faction causing Ireland's problems.
Well, and from a very early stage this afternoon, there was much speculation on social media as to his nationality, which we cannot confirm at this stage. However, that was amplified by certain campaigners, and it has led to the scenes that we have seen later in the afternoon, and undoubtedly some antisocial elements joining in and seizing the opportunity.
And when they posted this story on one of the final spaces for free speech, X.com, people immediately called them out. They're not the far right, they're just the working class that doesn't approve of school kids being slashed. So Sky News just blocked the comments. So when major media corporations try to feed you a narrative that is, noticing these attacks is somehow worse than implementing years of policy that created the situation where these attacks can take place. And if you reject their narrative of noticing crime makes you far right, they just block the replies. The media is literally the enemy of the people. As I understand, seeking asylum from war is real and these policies exist for humanitarian purposes. But Ireland went from 52,000 from Ukraine last year that went up to 93,000 this year, which is expected to still rise. But why is Ireland suddenly allowing them to go home for the holidays? Call me old-fashioned, but I just don't think you should be granted emergency protection from your vacation home. And that just highlights their main problem. They have policies to protect the innocent, but get taken advantage of by criminals. And somehow they do nothing to differentiate the two, and if you ask for your leaders to fix this oversight, they just see you as the problem. But maybe it's just part of their plan, as their Prime Minister thinks Ireland is too white.
And that actually needs to change. So we need to have, I think, a target for people who come from ethnic minority backgrounds, but also dedicated recruitment campaigns to encourage people, because we do need a generation of young people growing up in Ireland who are people of colour to see black and brown school principals, judges.
So I commend McGregor for speaking out against his failed leadership, and I admit it's partially because I'm a fan of the UFC, Conor's karate fighting style, and pro wrestling heel-like public persona. Because as you can see, I'm in the process of moving. I'm ditching the complete dumpster fire that is deep blue Los Angeles after being here for nearly 2 decades. Now I understand Ireland is much smaller than California, and Los Angeles County is smaller than Ireland despite having double the population, but I feel there's absolutely nothing I can do to change LA residents from continuously voting for their demise. And that's why I think it's so admirable that Conor McGregor is not only standing by his countrymen, but actually doing something about it. So hopefully this video is an easy way for people to see what's really going on behind the veil of lies that is the corporate news media, as I'm going to be offline for a bit while I get out of the city. So hopefully you guys can share these videos with friends and family in the meantime. But if you're new and you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on the other invasion of Spain that they conveniently have been hiding from you.